So we're just going to have to try to see how well we can get that done. And give me another moment because I've got to begin the live streaming. I think that's being accomplished now. All right. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Allen and Ms. Barbee. I'm about to call your case. I have some announcements that I have to make on the record. And then I'm going to suggest that each of you confer with your attorney in a virtual conference room. I was going to say that I think your attorneys know how to get you out of the conference rooms and back in this hearing, but I've already experienced some of Mr. Stakely's technological abilities, and I'm not sure that is going to occur, but we're going to try that. All right. Let me make sure that both of you can hear me. Mr. Allen, can you hear what we're saying?
Yes, sir, I can.
Ms. Barbee, can you hear what we're saying?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. I call cause number 26,650. The case is styled in the interest of Miles Robert Barbee, a child. This is a hearing on a petition to establish the parent-child relationship, as well as a hearing on a motion or petition to terminate the parent-child relationship. The announcement that I'm not necessarily required to make, but for my own protection I make, is to say this hearing is being conducted by a remote video teleconferencing technology. We are using the Zoom protocol to do so. This hearing is also being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel in order to satisfy and comply with Texas Supreme Court orders and Office of Court Administration mandates. The live streaming on the court's YouTube channel is to comply with Office of Court Administration mandates that suggest that the Texas Constitution requires the same in order to provide access to the courts by the public, thus satisfying the open courts clause of the Texas Constitution. For the record, I do not believe that is what the open courts clause of the Texas Constitution says or requires, but we are providing that service anyway during this pandemic time. With those statements being made, Mr. Maxwell, are you and your client ready to proceed?
Petitioner's ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Stakely, are you and your client ready to proceed?
We're ready, Your Honor.
Mr. McGee, you are the ad litem for the child in this cause. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. And in lieu of a report to the court, I would announce that I've complied with my requirements under the family code in that capacity.
All right, sir. And then Ms. Crump, on behalf of the Attorney General's office, are you and the Attorney General's office ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now then, we're about to see who's more challenged, me or Mr. Stakely.
Get your bets in now.
I beg your pardon?
I said, get your bets in now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Got one bet.
And let's hope that I succeed in getting the right attorney and the right client in the same room. All right, you should appear with your client with just the two of you virtually together with one more click of the computer. Okay, I at least got them out of our virtual hair. Mr. McGee, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm quarantined at home for the next 6 days, but I guess things could be much worse. I'm not feeling terrible. So.
Well, good. Have you been? If I get into personal matters, just give me an answer that makes no sense whatsoever, and I'll understand.
Yes, sir.
Have you had a positive test?
I did on Saturday, and so they tell me the CDC's new guidelines require 10 days quarantine, and so the symptoms setting in Thursday night, Friday gives me basically a week away from work. But in this time, there is no such thing as being away from work. We can Zoom in. So
sure. I tested positive the day after Thanksgiving. I had 0 symptoms. I never experienced any symptoms. And I attempted to non-judicially challenge the correctness of the positive. You know, to me, I had a false positive. To no real avail. The doctors said they consider a positive test much more strongly than they consider a negative test. So I sat out the next 10 days myself and never had a symptom. Fortunately, even though that was at the end of November and 1st of December, we had some fairly nice weather, very nice weather for that time frame. And so I live across the street from the junior college, which just fortuitously has a 9-hole golf course. So I would go by myself. So I would social distance and attempt to obtain as much vitamin D as possible.
there you go.
There we go. And which just aggravated me more. 1, because my scores were not any good. And 2, it just proved I wasn't positive.
Right.
To me, nobody else accepted that proof.
When you go golfing by yourself, you decide what your score is. I would imagine the score would have been fantastic.
Spoken like a lawyer. What is your need, if any, as ad litem in this case, to be involved in their discussions?
None at all. I don't have I feel like if the pair of them can arrive at a decision that I can live with it, especially given the parameters of what's being discussed. If it were much more polar and we were talking no support versus all of the support, I might feel compelled to be involved. But I feel like but with Mr. Maxwell, I imagine it's going to be plenty difficult to accomplish an agreement. So I might as well not interject myself into it.
I'm looking through the physical file. Oops, there's Mr. Maxwell.
Y'all don't be talking about me now.
That's why we all stopped talking when you came in.
You know, Judge, we are still alive on YouTube, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. I just think I ought to get satisfaction on my bet whether I won or lost.
Oh, At this point in time, I've been, I suppose I was successful, but until I get a report back from the parties, I'm not accepting a report back from the attorneys. I'll have to wait and see.
Well, I bet in your favor. The other bet I had is whether Jordan has a suit bottom on there or shorts.
Khakis.
I got $20. Says no, there's shorts there.
Well, a little column A, little column B. Khaki shorts.
I misunderstood you, Mr. McGee. I thought you were saying tacky, and thus you were referring to Mr. Maxwell.
Oh, well, that would also be applicable, I think.
Watch it now. Becky, are you out of the Lubbock office?
Yes, sir.
I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I just started December 1st. So,
Okay.
and I'm covering for Donis, who usually has this county.
Yeah, I need to talk to her. She's got something set for tomorrow, I believe. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, I think she said something tomorrow that I've got a conflict with.
You want me to look?
Yeah, it's my client is Natalie Garcia.
Which county? Scurry?
In Scurry.
Okay.
Scurry. I didn't get notice of it, but my client called yesterday and said she'd received notice.
Oh, we just gonna have to. I was trying to see if I could bring it up on that. Let me-
Is Donis out of the office today?
She is at a funeral. So she just asked me to cover these. Let's see. Okay. That's it.
Judge, have you had Jordan over in your court?
Can't get him this far west.
Well, he is now our assistant DA.
Your assistant DA?
Not
I
mine.
mean, Nolan County?
Nolan County, yeah.
My condolences.
Thank you, sir.
When did that start?
Back in July of last year, I joined the DA's office.
So now he's close enough to appear over there. He just can't do it in criminal cases.
Well, he probably couldn't do it as an ad litem in a CPS case either. Or an attorney in a CPS case. Because that's representing the state. I mean, representing the state is, I would think, would be a likely conflict.
Just a little.
I'm saddened to hear that.
That's my position, but that's not every elected official's position I've found. There's a a county attorney in Young County who still believes that he can represent children, and somehow that's not a violation of the conflict of interest inherent in representing children opposite the state. So,
Wow.
I disagree, but he continues to take cases.
Kenny, what was your client's last name?
Garcia. It's Nathalie. It's Nathaley, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's on there. Also Schaefer.
Yeah, Schaefer, I knew was at 9.
Okay.
What time